Because Tom Brady has had as good of a career as any athlete in my entire life in any sport.
I meant you don't come off as an anti-Tom Brady.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know if that's exactly what you meant or not, but I appreciate that. Tom Brady is, he ended, we love debating everything. And no one dares debate who the best quarterback ever is, because you'd look foolish arguing anybody else. We can talk about arm talent. We can say, you know, just eye test on one throw. We know the GOAT is Tom Brady. You've had to change the discussion to, like, is he the best football player ever, which is more complicated because of Jerry Rice, Jim Brown, different positions. I believe all of that. I believe Tom Brady's one of 2 players in the history of the league. You cut the career down the middle. You have first ballot Hall of Fame the first 10 years, first ballot Hall of Fame the next 10 years. But he's done, and people are afraid to say it. And so I sit here and say it, and I seem like I hate on the guy. He's conducted himself like a gentleman, a professional, and a great teammate. He seems to be a wonderful husband and father. He is the consummate pro. He's not a good quarterback anymore. 8 guys played this weekend. Who was last in passer rating? Him. 2 guys didn't account for touchdown passes. Him and another 40-year-old, McCown, Josh McCown, who came in because Carson got hurt. Only Tannehill had fewer yards per attempt, and Tannehill only completed 8 passes. The writing has been on the wall, by the way. Can we show it real quick before, Greg? These are the last 4 years. If that's a stock, you're selling it. It's not bouncing back up. Every year it's gotten worse, and there's reasoning for it. He's 42 damn years old. So no, he's not a championship quarterback anymore. I wish him the best of luck, and I think he's going to find greener pastures with the Chargers. But even with those weapons, what you're going to see is a 43-year-old quarterback who, even if he's the greatest 43-year-old quarterback ever, that's a bad quarterback because at some point the age matters, and it took longer for it to catch up to Brady than anybody else ever. But it caught up to him about midway through last year, and we've seen it since.
I don't think he's a championship quarterback. However, I do think he is still capable of winning games and allowing the New England Patriots to be competitive and still being a viable team to out in the playoffs. Everything that you're saying about Tom Brady is true. Like, the eye test alone shows anyone outside of a Patriot fan, because they don't want to see what everyone else is going to identify. The throws are low. The throws aren't as accurate. It's inconsistent at times. Even saying all that, I still can't put it all on Tom Brady, because if you were able to tell me he had top personnel and top skill guys at every position all the way around him, and then he played like this, that is one thing. But to have him go out and have the skilled level guys around him, the young guys, inconsistent play in Mohamed Sanu, and all these other guys, whatever, the inconsistent play of offensive line, no running game, and then you expect him to elevate everyone's level of play at the age of 42 years old. That is just flat out asking a lot. And you know, I know, we've all seen it. Father Time wins. I don't care how great you were yesterday. Today is a new day. And can you sustain what you had yesterday? And that's what I feel like Tom Brady is slipping on. He's definitely declining. Can he be competitive? 100%. I think he can play at a level that's high enough to where he can compete and have any team that he goes to in a position to win football games.
When you look at the Patriots and you see what Tom Brady's able to do, and you know that they're not going to be able to improve at every single skill position and that line completely, are the Patriots better off with the Tom Brady you saw this year or whoever else is out there?
Either way, you're drawing dead for a Super Bowl next season. And they're an organization that is measured by that. So you are better off ripping off the Band-Aid. And what folks, I understand the argument that if Brady had all pros all around him, he would look better. Listen, of course. And we saw Case Keenum make an NFC championship game, and Blake Bortles make an AFC championship game. And we have seen guys, it is true that Brady is not so awful right now that if he had a superstar cast of characters around him,
how about
he wouldn't
one,
look
like
better.
Antonio Brown? He just really needed one.
But wait, well, I don't know that that's, I don't think you are one great player away. The last half of the year, he was a bottom 5 quarterback in football. Over the course of the entire season, he was outside of the top 18 in every relevant passing category except for raw yardage because they threw the ball so often. The evidence, the Patriots have been to the playoffs basically every year over the last 20 years. Brady's been their quarterback every year they've been in the playoffs. You know what happened for the first time ever in this playoff game? They had a 1st and goal from the 1, and they didn't get a touchdown. And you know one of the reasons they didn't? Because they didn't trust their quarterback to drop back. And after that moment, you know the closest they got to scoring again? The 47-yard line. You know why? Because the offense stinks. Now, we can do this thing.
The offense stinks.
Yes, but the biggest, listen, man, if you go to a steakhouse and your meal's awful, maybe the mashed potatoes and the cream spinach weren't prepared right, but it probably is because the steak was cooked wrong. The quarterback's the steak, man. If the offense stinks, there is not a great offense in football with a terrible quarterback, and there's not a terrible offense in football with a great quarterback. It doesn't exist in 2019. And so it is not all on Tom Brady, but it's not getting better. It's not, we're not going to all of a sudden have, he did have this resurgence once. Age 36, 37, it looked like it was going here, and then 38, 39, 40, he was spectacular. You're not going to do that again. And I think Belichick knows it. And I think that's the cause of the friction. Kraft wants him back. He wants to be back, yet he doesn't have a contract because Belichick is the only one, I think, that has the stomach for it. Belichick's the only one that can handle saying, you know what? I'll deal with the arrows from the Boston Globe. We need to move on, and I think that's what we're about to see.
All right, I'll translate for the vegans a little bit later, but think about him to decide what he wants to do and what's in his own best personal interest. Nick, is the Patriots dynasty over even if Tom Brady stays in New England?
Yes. Yes, I will give the Speak for Yourself crew credit because they said it, and I had been on this all year, but they encapsulated it perfectly. It was over when they lost to the Dolphins in a game they never lose, in a way they never lose, in a place they never lose to AFC East teams, at home, Week 17, bye on the line, and you can't stop Ryan Fitzpatrick from driving the field to steal the bye from you. And then it was officially ended by Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, and the Tennessee Titans, and, by the way, former Patriot Logan Ryan with the pick 6 to end that football game. This is how it goes. And people can say, well, they just won a Super Bowl last year. How can you say it's over? Well, let's go to every dynasty in NFL history. The Packers won 3 straight Pro Football Championships, 1 pre-Super Bowl era in the first 2 Super Bowls. They didn't make another conference championship game until Brett Favre got there. The next one was the Dolphins. Dolphins made 3 straight Super Bowls, winning 2 in a row. They didn't make another conference championship game, not Super Bowl, conference championship game for nearly a decade. The Steelers won 4 out of 6 Super Bowls. Over the next 13 years, they made the conference championship once. The Niners won 5 in 14 years and were this close seemingly every single year. Then it was 15 years with 1 conference championship game. The Cowboys won 3 out of 4. Haven't been back to a conference championship game since. The Bills went to 4 straight Super Bowls since that last Super Bowl. Have not been back to a conference championship game since. It is not, when it's over, it's over. And whether Brady's there or not, what they will not have next year is elite quarterback play. What they will not have next year is high-level quarterback play with or without Tom Brady. The Manning, Brady, Big Ben era of the AFC is done. The Lamar, Deshaun, Patrick Mahomes era is upon us. One of those 3 young men is going to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl for the first time, and those 3 guys will trade it off over the next, I would imagine, 15 years, similar to how Manning, Brady, and Big Ben did over the previous 18. Those 3 guys have been to 16 of the last 18 Super Bowls in the AFC, pardon me. I don't know that Patty, Lamar, and Deshaun will have that level of success, but it's going to be something close to it. So with or without Tom Brady, to me, Greg, we saw the end of it at the final